you have been incrementally in the domestic formulation space. That's the OTC segment that we spoke about. But with your JV that you have with AbbVie on ophthalmology, and you have Yapan Bio, which is basically within the biologic space. But you're not full-fledgedly into domestic formulation, something which you sold to Abbott in 2010. So what is the plan to get back there?
Actually, nothing at the moment. The reason is the synergies are quite different. And they're not there anymore, right? We don't have the field force that is used to selling to doctors. The OTC field forces are different. They're used to selling to retailers. They're just not able to sell to doctors. So we don't have that experience. And I think even in supply chain and distribution, those distributors that handle OTC products are a bit different than the ones that handle purely pharma products. So I think if you look at it, if we were to do an acquisition, we wouldn't have the synergies that any other pharma companies would have. And that puts you at a disadvantage.
Okay, so you're not looking to re-enter domestic formulations?
So at this point, we're not looking to do that.
Okay, your larger picture in terms of focus would be CDMO, your inhalation segment, and your OTC, and probably more of a foray into biologics and keeping domestic formulations away. What would your revenue share look like from these segments, say 2 years down the line?
Right now, I think that proportion-wise, it'll probably be, it's probably 50, 35, 15, it's kind of around that.
Okay, so similar to what it is currently. Okay, well, just talking about the guidance a little bit on the near term, you have mentioned that the second half in terms of performance is probably going to be better than the first half. We have 1 quarter left. What's it looking like?
We're sticking to what we said earlier, that we think for the second half we should beat mid-teens growth, as well as a significant improvement in EBITDA. The CDMO especially is a seasonal business. A lot of our orders come in the final quarter of the financial year, because for our customers, it's quite often their first quarter. So they tend to shed inventory and kind of close their books at their final quarter and then say, okay, now I want to order for the first quarter. So the final quarter for us always ends up being very heavy.
Okay. And FY25, any trends? I know you've said that you don't want to talk about guidance in specific.
Yeah, I think the thing is we're waiting to see kind of what happens to the biotech funding and how it shakes out. And then we'll talk more about it. But I think right now, the focus is on closing the year. We've got, as you said, we've got 6 weeks left. That's the focus.
Okay. Well, just, digging deeper when it comes to margins, it's been a volatile amount of, margin picture since the time you listed in October 2022. And you also had margins falling all the way to, I think, around 5%. What is a sustainable level for the margins?
We think we can, in the 3 to 5 year time frame, get to about 22 to 25% on a sustainable basis.
And at least in the near term, considering that margins
So I think what we've said is that we'll see significant improvement back to, we aim to get back to pre-2020 margins.
Okay, but in the past 2 quarters, it's been above 13%. Yeah. So are you sustaining above those levels?
I can't actually comment on the next, but I think, as we said, we should see significant improvements.
Okay, all right. One of the key, points when you also listed, which stood out to me, was the very little regulatory issues that you all have faced. Do you have an OAI as of now?
No.
How do you manage to maintain such a clean track record when it comes to US FDA issues?
So I think first is culture, and then there's systems and process. So I think if you actually have the culture of saying that as an organization that says quality is incredibly important, right? We are trying to make that very real to people by making patients and centricity, in a way, the critical part. So we actually get our customers to get their patients to our manufacturing plant to say, this is who you're helping. This is what you're making, right? And I think that makes a difference, right? Because we're making pharmaceuticals, and if you're giving those pharmaceuticals to your family, you pretty much want to make sure that they're safe. You want to make sure that they're, good quality and that they do what they say they're going to do, right? And that, I think, is critical. So one is making everybody understand this is what you're doing, and that if you don't do your job, some patient out there isn't going to, cure their disease, get relief from their kind of health issues, and again, making it real. But then it's also systems and process. So for example, I think we get audited over between like 180 to 200 times a year by our customers. So if I look at my, all my sites, I have someone coming in every month, right? And that means my team, and the team is completely audit ready, right? Because you've got very different customers coming who have a different point of view. And then we kind of have to say, look, this is the Piramal point of view, and this is why we're doing something. So you have a lot of eyes on it. We do surprise corporate audits. So we actually have our team coming, and they'll knock on the door on a Monday morning and say, we're coming, right? We're here to audit you. We're not telling you anything. We're going to, so again, that's a lot of prep.
Yes, absolutely. But most Indian pharmaceutical companies have the same routine that you do when it comes to audits, but they still have issues which crop up.
I think it's,
so. What is the one?
It's culture and process and systems.
So when you say culture, what does it mean?
Again, as I said, it's
top down.
It's top down. It's about making it very clear. As I said, it's like, look, quality is what we do. That's why we're in business.
One of the key points has been that you did get that money from Carlyle, I think over around $350 million in 2020. How was that funds actually utilized?
Some of it was used to pay down debt as part of the parent company.
Okay. And what is the plan in terms of their holding? How much do they hold currently? What is the plan on exiting?
I think they hold about 18%, and we've had no conversations about exiting so far.
They've done, would that probably be on the agenda for them?
I think that presumes so, but we've had no conversations.
Okay, all right. No conversations as of now. Well, Nandini, give us a sense in terms of where exactly we're going on a 3 to 5 year basis for Piramal Pharma, because you're almost closing in on $1 billion in terms of sales.
I think over the next 3 to 5 years, we should be able to do a mid-teens growth and improve margins to 22 to 25%.
All right, Nandini, it's been great talking to you. Thank you very much for joining in and speaking to CNBC.
Thank you, Ekta. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.